painting of Guilin. Okay, before I begin, I'd like to invite you to look at this painting of Guilin, the city where I work. So if this painting had a voice, what would it say? What can you see from this painting? Maybe I will give you around 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah, you can do some, maybe you can answer it and interact with me, or you can just type in the chat box. If this painting had a voice, what would it say? Actually, this is a painting related to our city's scenery. We have mountains, we have trees, rivers. Okay, we have some words here. Ah, can you type your answers? Yeah, it seems to be singing a song, rural life. Anything else? What else do we have? Oh, the snow. It's a beautiful day. Wow. I love everyone's answer because you really create a welcoming atmosphere when you see this picture. All right. So Guilin is famous for its mountains and rivers, but for me, it is more than a landscape. It is a city that constantly reminds me that form and feeling belong together. Its mountains and rivers are not only geological forms, they also hold memory, imagination, and emotion. So when I ask my students, these keywords are their answers, like dreamlike, tranquil, peaceful, calm, serene, echoing, and so on and so forth. So in the same way, language is not only about grammar and structure, it is also about how students experience the world, how they try to speak, how they hesitate, how they revise, and how they gradually grow. So this is actually where my inspiration comes from. So I'm trying to create some activities for the students to understand language better rather than just memorizing the concepts in linguistics. So we try to make room for human experience, creativity, and reflection. So why creative writing matters in linguistics? Creative writing includes expressive forms like poetry, like short fiction, like literary dialogue. And in linguistics, it goes beyond grammar rules to include emotional expression, cultural identity, and creativity. Because I know that many of you today here are come from different countries. So it is really a matter for us to try to cultivate our students' cultural identity when they are learning language. And creative writing enriches how language is used, making it more dynamic and personal, and aligns both linguistic and artistic practices. So our aim is to unlock the students' full potential, transforming their language learning journey from a rigid task into a playful exploration while fostering the humanistic values of education. So let's see this picture. From the picture, it compares traditional and linguistics, uh, linguistics together with creative writing. So from the left part, what can you see? The skeleton of a certain animal, maybe a dog, a fox. Well, it's just like the skeleton of language. It provides only structure, like what we call grammar, syntax, and rules. However, from the right side, you can see a vivid animal, a fox. It got shape, and we have the flesh. So creative writing is just like the flesh. It adds human expression, emotion, and identity, creating a whole being of language. It helps bridge the gap, fostering critical thinking, cultural awareness, and emotional expression while aligning linguistics with humanistic education. And here's another picture, a house. We can also think of linguistics as a framework of a house, just like the thing on the top of this house, strong, structured, and foundational. However, if we only have the framework, do you think anyone will come to our house? Maybe the answer is not because we don't have the atmosphere, we don't have decorations to attract others to come in. So creative writing is a decorations. It adds color, personality, and warmth to the space, making it more inviting and meaningful. So our aim is to try to invite our students to interact with our classes rather than making it a very tedious, boring session. So together, linguistics and creative writing create a complete home where the structure of linguistics supports and the creative writing will help with our language arts and expression. All right. Our goal is to see how creative writing enhances linguistic proficiency, fosters motivation, creativity, and humanistic values in students, making the study of language both scientific and human-centered. So especially now we come to the era of AI, so the language study is more scientific because when we insert something, when we insert some prompts, the AI will instantly create some answers. But how to make these answers got human-centered voices, how to make the students share their voice, this is a problem. How creative writing makes linguistics more engaging? Let's see. First, say it sparks intrinsic motivation by creating a positive emotional environment. So activities like story writing, group discussions, and creative tasks improve student engagement and language acquisition. Krashen, one of the most famous scholars, once put forward this hypothesis, which is affective filter hypothesis. We can consider language input, something like grammar, like vocabularies. Language input is more readily absorbed in a relaxed, creative atmosphere. So this is a affective filter hypothesis proposed by Krashen, 1982. The input relates to all the language tasks like vocabularies, like grammar rules, syntax, semantics, everything. Well, the filter, we have actually a funnel. The filter is like a funnel that we will filter something, make the knowledge to come into our mind. So in our mind, there is language acquisition device, and this will definitely influence our acquired competence. When students are placed in a less pressured environment, so you can see the black dots are like our input. The comprehensible input will smoothly flow in our brain, and in our brain there is language acquisition device, and the affective filter is quite widened. However, in the second picture, when students are placed in a high pressured atmosphere or classroom climates, an affective filter doesn't allow much comprehensible input through our language acquisition device. So, for example, how to create a welcoming and supportive or cozy atmosphere for our students. I have tried this because I joined my university in 2024. And the first day I entered our classroom, I noticed that all of the students were observing me. They were just like observing, oh, what kind of this teacher is going to be like? Would she be quite serious, tedious, boring, or she would be friendly? I noticed this problem and I started asking them to make self-introductions, but at the very beginning, they were terrified. They didn't even start making self-introduction. So I suddenly realized that, okay, their affective filter is quite high, all right? And later on, I told them something. I told them that, okay, just relax and you won't be criticized even you cannot answer the question. When you are ready, then you can make a self-introduction. We'll do some interactive activities. And slowly, they notice that I was just keep a smiling face, and then they started speaking. And I even tell them, you can drink, you can eat, you can do everything you want in my class. All right. And then they started interact with me. So let's take this as an example. When I'm going to teach my students the definitions of language, the first thing is that I show them this slide. But however, there are so many concepts here, like Sapir mentioned, language is a purely human and non-instinctive method of communicating ideas, blah, 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 blah. And Chomsky mentioned, from now on, I will consider language to be a set, finite or infinite of sentences, each finite in length and constructed out of a finite set of elements. So after I read all of these things, the students actually are not interested in them. Then they just maybe lower their heads and or just take down the notes. And then I realize a problem. I haven't humanized the session. So later on, I try to create a way to show them how to really get these definitions through activities. For example, like what Chomsky has mentioned, language is a set of sentences, each finite in length and constructed out of a finite set of elements. So, what do you feel? How to understand this through your uh, appreciation of language? Yeah. So we have a limited number of words. For example, we can always check vocabularies in the dictionaries, but we can generate unlimited number of sentences. All right. Language is just like Lego. You have a limited number of bricks. I'm sure most of you maybe have played Lego in your childhood. So these bricks are like words and grammar rules. However, you can build unlimited different structures, what we call sentences. You can actually tell the students through a vivid metaphor to elicit their understanding of what is language or what is limited, unlimited, finite, infinite, something like this, pure concepts. And to make it more vivid, I invited them to play a game. The game is called the Never Ending Sentence, the Elephant Trunk Hill Edition. So before that, I would like to show you the legend of this elephant trunk hill because this is the icon of our city, the city of Guilin. Okay, according to the legend, there was once a kind and hardworking elephant in heaven. You see here, it's just like shaped like the elephant drinking water. When a severe famine struck the human world and people were suffering, the elephant could not bear to watch. It secretly came down to earth to help, carrying food, plowing fields, and bringing water to the people. When the heavenly emperor discovered what had happened, he became furious and set heavenly soldiers to bring the elephant back. But the elephant refused to abandon the people it had to come to help. It fought to protect them and was badly wounded, injured. Eventually, exhausted from its injuries, the elephant reached the banks of the Li River. You can see this Li River. As it lowered its trunk to drink from the water, it turned into stone and remained there forever. So today, people in my city even say that this stone elephant became elephant trunk hill. Its trunk stretches into the river, creating the iconic shape that gives the hill its name. And beneath the trunk is a round opening known as Water Moon Cave. You can see here the cave, which is called the Water Moon Cave. And on clear moonlit nights, the moon can be seen reflected both in the cave and on the water, creating a beautiful and almost magical scene. All right. So this is the legend of our Elephant Trunk Hill in my city. And if you have chance, I do like to invite you to come to have a look. So the game is called the Never Ending Sentence, the Elephant Trunk Hill Edition. Our objective is that we will gradually expand a sentence about Elephant Trunk Hill, making it longer and more detailed while maintaining grammatical accuracy. How to play? We'll start with a very simple sentence like Elephant Trunk Hill is beautiful. And after that, each player adds a new word, phrase, or clause to expand the sentence while keeping it grammatically correct. So I think we will have some minutes to do it. Maybe I will give you 2 minutes. You can think in your mind how to expand this basic sentence. Elephant trunk hill is beautiful. All right. So if anyone has any thoughts, you can just type in the chat box. Or you can directly unmute yourself and try to expand it. How to expand or extend this sentence? Can we add some adjectives, add the location, maybe add the, okay, someone raised hand. Let's see. Can you unmute or just uh, share? Maybe the host can unmute the participants. Do you have any answers in our chat box? Yeah. If you are going to extend this sentence, the elephant trunk hill is beautiful. How to do that? Yeah, you may unmute yourself because it's quite an interesting activity to experience why sentences are unlimited. Yeah, why can we just use number of words to expand the sentence? How to expand it? This will actually reflect the feature of language. Elephant trunk hill is not only beautiful but also peace. Peaceful. Okay. It's extremely beautiful. Wow, you add the adverb and looking stunning. Okay, the descriptions, very nice. So what kind of perspective can we relate it? It's actually peaceful and stunning. Great. Okay, so I invited my students to do it. Yeah, this is our real class application. Our students started discussing and try to search for the answers. All right. Yeah, I showed them this picture, the elephant trunk hill. So how creative writing games foster engagement and language skills? Let's see their works. All right. So they have to always revise the sentence. They cannot do it in one go. They have to revise it. Let's see the answers. The original task, Elephant Trunk Hill is a beautiful place. So our task is to expand this sentence without making grammatical errors. Elephant Trunk Hill in Guilin stands as a natural wonder. It's a beautiful place surrounded by lush greenery and clear waters. Okay, good. So the next students have to continue. For example, how to continue. It's a wonder, it's a beautiful place, attracting tourists from all over the world who come to admire its unique shape and enjoy the serene atmosphere of this iconic landmark. So we have done this for several groups. And later on, I try to show them how the sentence can be extended. I show them the example. You can also think of how, all right? So the first step, we have the basic sentence, elephant trunk hill is beautiful. And after that, we can add an adjective or detail. For example, elephant trunk hill is a beautiful and famous landmark. Yeah, just as what our friends have just done. It's excellent. And step 3, adding location information. Elephant Trunk Hill is a beautiful and famous landmark in Guilin, China. And next step, describing the shape. Elephant Trunk Hill is a beautiful and famous landmark in Guilin, China, known for its shape resembling an elephant drinking water. So after these four steps, what else can we add? What else can we add? The adjective, the detail, the location, the shape, and what else? If you are the writer, you're going to uh, write a novel and you have to try to maybe describe the environment, the atmosphere, how to do that by using the language features that's mentioned by Chomsky. Yeah, uh, the next step, step five, we can add natural features. For example, known for its shape resembling an elephant drinking water from the clear flowing Li River. So another imagery comes out, and we have used some adjectives to describe this new imagery. And the next step, adding historical or cultural context. For example, uh, drinking water from the clear flowing Li River and has been admired by poets and artists for centuries. Here you can actually quote some poems or quote some idioms to describe it. And after that, we have two more steps. We can add tourism related information. For example, uh, from the clear flowing Li River and has been admired by poets and artists for centuries, attracting thousands of tourists who come to witness its breathtaking scenery and explore the nearby caves and temples. And the last step, we can add an emotional or sensory description. So this is actually which is quite close to our heart because finally we need to express our feelings to show our voice to the world. Explore the nearby caves and temples and enjoy the peaceful sound of the river gently lapping against the rocks as the sun sets behind the misty karst mountains. So let's think of one question. If you are a reader of maybe travelogue, so which sentence do you like? The first one, the elephant trunk hill is beautiful, or after step 8, this paragraph? All right. So this is how you can see that this is only one. This contains only one sentence. However, it becomes much longer than the first one. So this reflects Chomsky's idea of why language you have a limited number of breaks, words, and grammar rules, but you can build unlimited different structures, what we call sentences. So the assignment for my students is actually to pick a tourist destination in our city and gradually expand a sentence about it. Well, for you, if you are interested in, later on, I will share a questionnaire. You can maybe think of one scenery spots in your country or in your city, and you try to use these 8 steps to expand the basic sentence. All right. Yeah, this is quite interesting. This will reflect our cultural identity, will reflect how you feel, will reflect your maybe emotions. And even you can add more steps. You can add more steps. We can always go beyond the foundation. All right. Okay. So this is how I teach the features mentioned by Chomsky, the definitions of language. And then let's think another thing, how to teach semantics. What is meaning? Yeah, we are going to teach students semantics in a traditional or conventional linguistics class. What we'll do? Yeah. For me, I also created a new way to teach semantics. Uh, let's see this categorization proposed by Geoffrey Lish. Geoffrey Lish mentioned that we have 7 types of meaning. Conceptual meaning, which is the literal meaning, word for word meaning, or the surface meaning, or that we can check the meaning from the dictionary. And we also got associative meaning, contains connotative meaning, social, affective, reflected, collocative, and semantic meaning. So today we'll just focus on connotative meaning because our lecture's time is limited. All right. So how are you going to teach connotative meaning? What does it mean by connotative meaning? Semantics. Connotative meaning refers to what is communicated by virtue of what language refers to over and above its purely conceptual content. It is the intentional meaning which a word suggests or implies. Let's think of these two examples. The first one, woman. If you are going to write a novel, so the woman, the word woman, or you are going to build some characters related to various types of women. Yeah, what are you going to do? You may use the connotative meaning to show the character. Women can refer to frail, prone to tears, emotional, sympathetic, lack of ration, timid, capricious, sensitive, diligent. Yeah, it really depends on the context and what you want to show the readers. And home, let's see the second word. If I call that welcome everyone, it's great to have you. Welcome home everyone to join me, to join this lesson. So here, I may consider home as family, as friends, warmth, cozy, comfortable, safety, love, free, and convenience. And regarding connotative meaning, it has a feature of unstable feature. Why? Because they vary considerably according to culture, historical period, and the experience of the individual. So let's think one thing. If I am going to ask an orphan who just lost parents in the war, and I ask him to describe home, and this person may just cry, or we can see the tears in his or her eyes, because the connotative meaning of the same word will be different, will be in contrast even, yeah, based on some cultural backgrounds or social backgrounds. So the feature of the connotative meaning is unstable. It really depends, yeah, based on the individual's experiences. And next, I also created an activity for my students, which is to read this poem, The Road Not Taken, written by Robert Frost. How many of you have read this poem? The Road Not Taken, written by Robert Frost. So you can just have a quick look of this poem and try to select or measure how many words got connotative meaning. Why the famous poet make this poem famous? Yeah, and let's see the first paragraph. We have the imagery like roads, like yellow, and here we have black, had trodden black. So what's the connotative meaning of the different color? The bright color yellow and the dark color black. What actually does the author or does the writer want to imply or suggest? And be one traveler. Traveler. Traveler means what? The connotative meaning is what? Okay, I will give you maybe, let's see, 2 minutes. You can think of the connotative meaning of certain words. And if possible, you can also maybe unmute yourself or type in the chat box. Yeah, road is connotative. Choices. Ah, very nice. Choices. Ah, I've read Robert Frost, but not this one. Yeah. Snake. Ah, is a symbol of dangers or enemy. Quite interesting. Yellow may refer to autumn. Wow, cool. This colors as a mood in this example. Okay, let me show you some of my analysis based on the connotative meaning in the poem, where yellow represents autumn, change, the passage of time, and reflection. Well, wood, what does wood suggest? Suggests nature, solitude. If you enter a forest or a wood, maybe you are going to enter a mystery world or a mysterious world, or you're going to step on an adventure. So wood suggests nature, solitude, and sometimes mystery or adventure. And sorry, this word connotes a sense of hesitation or unease, suggesting dot because the traveler doesn't know which road to take. Yeah, maybe there are some important choices in life. And traveler suggests a journey, both physical and metaphorical, through life. And grassy implies naturalness, serenity, peace, or untapped potential. So why untapped potential here? When I relate it to my own memory, I think that the grasses are quite soft. So when we are going to make decision or we want to explore our inner world, we will release our untapped potential when we are standing on the soft place. So grassy may imply naturalness or untapped potential, serenity and peace. And wanted where implies that the road is less chosen, new, or unexplored. And this word, sigh, it's a kind of mood here. The exhalation of breath connotes a mix of regret, nostalgia, or relief about important decisions. Maybe finally, this person passed the Ph.D. Viva and then suddenly sigh. All right. It's quite interesting, relief. Okay. And ages hence connotes reflection on long-term consequences or the passage of time. And difference implies that the choice will have a significant impact, yet leaves uncertainty. Adopted suggests indecision or a lack of confidence in the future. And we have more and more. Let's see the word black connotes death, loss, or the idea of something abandoned or forgotten. Because maybe this poem is based on how the poet seeks his dream, and during this journey, maybe the things he had done uh, were not memorized or just abandoned or forgotten by others, and he just used the color black to show this kind of feeling. And claim implies ownership, legitimacy, or a sense of entitlement to a choice. Claim just means a right or demand for something. And trodden plaque connotes the idea of something well worn, commonplace, or chosen often, and less traveled suggests individuality, uniqueness, and making a personal choice. All right. So this is quite interesting when we can try to appreciate the poem, appreciate some artistic works or creative writing genre, and then we can actually understand the traditional concepts, the abstract concepts like connotative meaning. So here's an activity which is called writing haiku using connotative meaning. Actually, everyone can become poets. Why? Let's see, let's try this activity. This is a very classic poem. An old silent pond. A frog jumps into the pond. Splash, silence again. Yeah, attached is a picture, and you can just feel the atmosphere here. And let's see if we have an activity of inviting our students or invite our audiences to write haiku using connotative meaning. We can even have several steps. The first step, we will write this poem, write a haiku poem focusing on nature or personal experience, incorporating the connotative meanings of words to enhance emotional impact. So before that, we need to know the template or the format of this type of poem. Usually, for a haiku poem, the first line includes 5 syllables, second line 7 syllables, and third line 5 syllables again. So how to measure the syllables? The measurement of syllables depends on the number of vowels, the vowel sounds, all right? And it can relate to phonetics and phonology. The number of vowel sounds can equal to the number of syllables, okay? So the subject, oh, we got a person, yeah, we got a friend, Fahim, raise a hand. Okay, you can unmute yourself, yeah. If you want to interact, you can, yeah, you
Madam,
can try to interact.
Madam, I'm actually unable to chat because I don't know internet issues or something else. And another, I wanna ask questions that creative writing is actually related to we can study in literature mainly, but here
Yeah,
it's really interesting that we can put it in linguistics and we can study literature or appreciates literature or do stylistic analysis of literary text through language.
Yeah, very good thoughts. We can actually integrate maybe literature into our traditional linguistic class. Yeah, really. Okay, so the subject, let's continue. The subject of a haiku usually focuses on nature, seasons, or moments of personal reflection, often capturing a fleeting image or emotion. So we can just appreciate this classic poem, like old suggests what, silent, the adjective suggests what, and pond, frog jumps, and splash, and silence again. So after we appreciate this poem, we can write our own poem by using the connotative meanings of certain words. So we have several steps to do this. The first thing, we can get a list of nature-related words or words linked to personal emotions or experiences with strong connotative meanings. For example, storm, whisper, breeze, shadows, twilight, sorrow, hope, etc. So this is the first step. We get a list of the nature-related words. And the second step, think the connotative meanings of words. For example, storm might suggest turmoil, chaos, or energy. It depends on the your own experiences or the situation or the cultural and historical background. And breeze could evoke feelings of calmness, freedom, or peace. Whisper could convey intimacy, secrecy, or quietness. This is the second step. We think the connotative meanings of these words. And the third step, consider how these words will create a mood or imagery, how we can connect this and make them into a haiku poem. So line 1, 5 syllables introducing the chosen word and its connotation. And line 2, 7 syllables expanding on the feeling or image created by that word. Now this step is quite important. And line 3, 5 syllables concluding with an emotional twist or deepened meaning that connects to the connotation of the words. And I invited my students to do this activity in 20 minutes. So let's see how they do it. This is a real class application. Well, I showed them the instructions, and the difficulties in math, I think, are the vocabularies they are going to select or pick. So you have to check the dictionaries. All right. So after 20 minutes, they shared what they have written in our QQ group because we use QQ in China. And the poems are also based on Guilin, our city's scenery. You see what they have written. Let's see this one, quite interesting. Reed Flute Cave, because we have so many caves here and mountains here. Reed Flute Cave. Reed Flute Cave unfolds. Stalactites glow with grace. Wonder fills my heart's space. And we have more. Mountains rise, misty peaks so high. Rivers weave, jade green they glide. Greetings charm, a silent sigh. And whisper of autumn. Lush green waters mirror skies, beautiful sights. So these are my undergraduate students. So you can see that after they understand or after they got the consciousness of selecting the connotative meanings behind the words, they can write easily. All right. And this one, Moon over Lee River. Moonlight softly spills, silvering Lee River's rippling thrills. Guilin dreams unfolds. We have so many interesting poems. Just the next one, Elephant drinks deep. River mirrors limestone dreams. Mist veils Guilin's hearts. And this one, Bamboo raft drifts light. Lee River reflects elephant trunk. Ripples bright. Time melts in night. We even got some end rhymes. End rhymes. Okay, so this is the elephant trunk hill here. So once you have opportunities, you can really travel here and let me know if you are here. So after that, what can we do after the students have already submitted their poem? Based on the original version, we can ask them, maybe the roommates or the friends sitting next to them, to revise the version. So we can check whether it follows 575 syllables format. And if the poem has followed the format, and then how the imagery connects to each other. What's the logic, whether it's logical or not logical, or whether they have expressed themselves in a deeper way. All right, so we can try to revise it. This is original version. I show you an example. Landscape of Guilin, clear waters and clear mountains, nature's works wonders. And revised version by their friends. Guilin landscape shines, clear waters and green mountains, nature's quiet gift. And even after this, we can ask AI to make some revisions for us to maybe increase our intense feelings to express ourselves well. So this is another version. This version is quite good because why? Let's see. It uses some rhetorical devices. 桂林 awakes bright, awakes here, a personification, right? And jade peaks rise from silver mist. Silence stones the sky. Here is a paradoxically description. Silence stones the sky. So silence and stance, they make some tensions between the sentence. It's a paradoxical rhetorical device used here. Okay, so it's really the time for our lecturers or for our teachers to unleash the power of creative writing in linguistics class. Creative writing enhances linguistic proficiency while fostering motivation, creativity, and humanistic values. And this approach brings together structure and expression, allowing students to see language as both a science and an art. So finally, my tips for you, maybe as lecturers, you can also invite your students to use this method. The integration of creative writing into linguistic classrooms makes language studies more human-centered and engaging. Okay, thanks for listening, and floor is yours. Yeah, you can give feedback, thoughts. Okay, yeah. If you have any questions, you can maybe ask. Let me stop share my slides. Do you have any questions? Any thoughts? Any feedbacks?
Thank you so much, Dr. Hui, for such an inspiring session. You have shown us that applied linguistics is truly an art form. So we will be opening now the Q&A session. If you have any questions so far, I think we have got many questions in here. So we have any questions from the participants, please?
I just saw someone raising hands. Yeah, Alakan. Yeah,
Yeah,
the Philippines.
can unmute.
Good evening
Yeah,
from the
try to
Philippines.
unmute.
Am I audible? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
Yes, you are
I can
audible.
hear.
Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations for the good discussion on humanizing the linguistic classroom with a heartbeat of creativity. I really appreciate this one. And as a language major student, we always try to make sense of how we improve our teaching, our strategies in implementing this kind of strategy, especially in creative writing. I'm not really good at creative writing, definitely, because I focus actually on the side of structures and meaning of language, but not really on the creative side. Um, my question actually is on the the strategy on how I do not know if it is really exist or does exist in your university, because since most of the Chinese students are English is their foreign language, then there might be a problem when it comes to this schema or the vocabulary when they wanted to extend the sentences, how they express themselves. Everyone they have their own ideas how to say things, but in a language that is foreign to them, they might encounter with the supplying vocabulary. Now my question is, how do you deal with the students with having a problem with vocabulary when they have the idea but they cannot write it? Do you open your the do you open or do you allow them to open their dictionary, their gadgets, in order for them to search for this certain vocabulary or translation?
A very interesting question. I think it's quite normal in Chinese universities, especially in my classes, all right, because they graduated from high school and they entered our university. They have maybe an unlimited repertoire of the vocabularies. But this is not the most difficult problem. The most hard part is that they have the vocabularies, but they even dare not to speak out. So the vocabularies are the input, right? So days after day, if they just not use the language, not use the vocabularies, they will lose them because they're not really active, yeah, when they are going to make the output. So the first thing is that I have to invite them to express freely. Yeah, I tell them, don't dare to make any mistakes. Just say. You can always self-correct it yourself. And even when you are saying something, you suddenly forget that word. You can check instantly through your phone or even ask AI to do that. So later on, you will release the kind of pressure of losing face in front of others. Because we have around maybe 40 students in one class. So this is the smallest class. And we even have around 70 students in one class. So how dare they to speak out or stand up in front of others? So I just tell them, okay, you can just sit down and relax. And if you forget what you want to say, you can always check the dictionary now and don't feel you have lose your face. Something like this. We need to encourage them, yeah, to activate their vocabularies. Okay, hopefully I have answered the question.
Thank you. Due to time constraints, we prefer not to take further questions. Thank you for your understanding. And thank you, Dr. Hui, for that roadmap for leadership and creativity. We are truly enriched. Please accept this certificate of appreciation as a symbol of our respect for your commitment to empowering educators. We are honored to have your name associated with Talent Quest.
Thanks.